if you have people in your life that you love and you care about, like, tell them. Tell
Right.
them exactly what you think about them while they are still here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you love them, say that. If you're proud of them, say
Tell
that.
'em.
If you think they're really talented at something, just tell them that, because sometimes.
Welcome back to the Abundant Behavior Podcast. I'm your host, Ali Banks, and today I have a very special guest with me. This is somebody that, when I think of the creator space, this is definitely somebody I think of when it comes to content creation, videography, photography. You know, he's definitely somebody that's very enthusiastic, and they let their work speak for him. But without further ado, I'm not gonna take the floor too much. Justin Colosito.
What's going on?
Just
Do I
tell
talk
him,
to them?
yeah, just tell
Oh,
him
okay, okay.
a little bit about you, what you do, who you are.
Yeah, you pretty much captured it. I do photo, video, and I also do the content for a clothing brand that I run with my brother, which is Cherry Uniform. So,
Oh, dope. So we'll just hop right into it. With this topic being near and dear to both of our hearts, I just wanna ask you what inspired you the most about your father, the man that he was.
um, I think one thing that really inspired me about my dad was how he treated people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, After he passed, like, a lot of people was saying stuff about how he just made them feel special, and how, you know, um, sometimes he was like the only person that would
Mm-hmm.
ever say, I'm proud of you, and they weren't even like their daughter or son, or like
Mm-hmm.
they had no type of family type of relationship with him. These were just people that he worked with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but on top of that, in his last 2 years of his life, he had some old friends that he used to hang out with a lot, back when he was in his 20s. And, some things happened within that friend group, and then somehow, some way, he kind of just brought everyone back together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, yeah.
Just big on relationships and
Yeah.
just big on making people feel good. And I think it's one lesson that we can all take, is that a lot of people, they tend to think about themselves majority of the time. And as being a person, that's natural, you think about yourself. But if you can just take yourself outside of your body and just try to see something from somebody else's perspective, try to see how they feel, what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Just really, really ask them how they feel. How are they? Just being genuine with people. I think that's something that a lot of people lack in interpersonal relationships, is just being genuine, you
Yeah.
know. So when your father passed, do you think that there was any work left undone that you have to fill, or he left and you have to pick up and start where
Um,
he left off?
no. I mean, thankfully, I don't feel as though like there's something that I have to continue to do now that he's passed. I think
Mm-hmm.
the only thing that I have to do now is like just live life to my fullest potential. Um, and honestly, I think that's exactly what he would want from me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just making sure that mom is okay. Uh, just being a good brother, a good friend.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, just trying to take on some of the things and qualities that he had
Yeah.
while he was still here.
Those characteristics just continue that legacy of
Mm-hmm.
loving people and
Yeah.
being the best to people that you can. And I think that's really important as well. When you first got the news, how did that feel to you? I know we had similar experiences, but when you
Mm-hmm.
first got that news, how did that feel to you? And how did you overcome those feelings? What did you do to cope?
When I first got the news that he was hospitalized, I guess, it actually happened while I was in school. Um, while I was in school, like, I usually keep my phone on silent, but then after class, I just got a text in a
Mm-hmm.
group chat, and then pretty much that text was just saying something along the lines where pretty much dad had to go to the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, And for some reason, while I was driving from campus over to the house, because we were having all the family come to the house first and then go to hospital. But anyways, on that way back to the house, I was just, for some reason, something was just telling me this might be it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I had that feeling, and on that way back driving, I was just nervous. I cried a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. And then when I finally figured out that he passed away, mind you, he was in the hospital for like 5 days. The doctor pretty much came in. He said, that was it. And of course, losing him was probably one of the worst things I ever could have experienced. I just remember after getting that news, looking at him on the hospital bed and just not moving, a bunch of tubes running in and out of his body. But I could say that I'm very thankful that I don't regret anything with the time he was here. Like, I told him everything that he had to hear prior to him passing away. I told him that I loved him. I told him how thankful I was for him, for him working hard and, doing stuff for the family. But after losing him, really the best thing that I was able to do to just cope with all of that was really just keep myself busy and be with friends. I think literally like the next day I was like, yo, like I need to get out of the house, and little do my friends know, they were helping me just heal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Without even knowing. So if anything, I'm just super grateful that I had people in my life that was willing to just hang out
and be there
just
for
laugh. Yeah, like like laughter really kept my mind off of things.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? Like we didn't really talk about it much. Like we just hung out like it was normal.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
definitely. Yeah, I had a similar situation like I was saying. So I was at work. This was back when I was in the Navy, and I got a text, and my mother, she was like, call me, I got something. I need to tell you something. But usually my mom, if she got something to tell me, she just gonna text it. So I'm like, what could she be talking about? And then instantly my mind went to my father. So when I called her, I could just hit her, the tone in her voice, I just knew it wasn't good. And she told me he passed away. But my father had been sick for a little while now, so I had time to, I think, prepare myself, because I knew soon it'd be the time when he wouldn't be here. So I kind of adjusted my mentality around that. And he got to meet my son, and I'm grateful for that as well too. I feel like he stayed alive just long enough to meet my son, so that was really important, and I think that was dope. And the same way I coped, man, I just got around people, around my friends, the best way I did know how to. I was real young, so I was just going into adulthood, so it was definitely something I had to use to cope, But what's something that your dad instilled in you that you think you might carry forever with you?
I'm trying to think. I think now keeping God first.
Yeah.
Actually, recently, I guess one thing I always questioned after he passed away was like, why? Like I've dealt with people in my family passing away, and Usually when someone passed away, someone got added into my life.
Right.
When my grandmother passed, I believe an uncle came into my life that I didn't really know too well. And then when my other uncle passed away, my cousin that, I met when I was very young, but I don't remember because I was so young at that time, along with her husband and kids were added into our family. Right. And then after my dad passed, what? You know what I mean? There was no addition to our family. There was nothing. And now, I think after him passing, I made the decision to finally try to get closer with God. And I know right now, I know, like, I feel like I am a baby when it comes to being in the church, Christianity, like all of that stuff. But now I'm starting to figure out, like, did he pass because now I'm trying to get closer with God. One thing I learned is that sometimes God will just bring you to your lowest point because he knows if he brings you there, then
it'll force you.
It'll force you to get closer with him. And it's weird because, like, why would my dad pass just so I could get closer with him? But then at the same time, it's like maybe his mission was on earth was done. He did what he had to do while he was here, and what I believe is that his timing is perfect. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Sometimes I'm not sure if that is why he passed, but I'm starting to think that might be it. So
that's powerful. That's definitely powerful. Is there any lesson that your father taught you that you didn't quite understand at first, but as you got older, it started to make more sense to you?
How you do one thing is how you do everything.
For sure.
Yeah. Growing up, I wouldn't do certain stuff. I'd be lazy cleaning my room or just lazy doing certain stuff. And then he would always say, like, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And now that I'm older, I understand that now. Like, if I put my energy into something, I gotta put 110% effort into whatever that thing is. In the gym, spending time with my family and friends,
because it all ties together.
Yeah, like being intentional with trying to build depth within my relationships. The stuff that I do at work, finding joy in that.
Right.
Just really giving it my all in anything that I do.
Right. I think one thing for me, one lesson that I didn't quite understand, just being a kid in the environment I grew up in, everybody talked about each other. Everybody teased each other at school. And so I just got in the habit of just speaking negative of, like, people just making fun of them. And he would always tell me, like, you need to stop talking about people. It's not good to talk about people. But, it's just when I got older into adulthood, I started to realize, like, your words are powerful. They say life and death is in the power of the tongue. So whatever you speak into this universe, either good or bad, it can positively affect somebody or negatively affect somebody. So, and you can only judge, somebody so far. They say never condemn a dirty glass, just sit a clean one next to it. So if you want to teach somebody or talk about somebody, just instruct them the right way and not just be so negative towards them, but not give them a solution. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's very important. A lesson that he taught me early was to just, and also just give everybody an open mind. Don't judge, a book by its cover. So definitely something that it was important. Within how impactful both, the passing was to you, what helped you to keep pushing? And man, you graduated college, man, just recently. Congratulations to you on that.
Thank you. think what kept me pushing was really just I knew that's exactly what he would want.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like he wanted someone, or at least one of his sons to graduate school.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, being able to still make him proud while he's not here is kind of what kept me going.
Right. Man, it was kind of similar to me. Well, I had another driving force as well. Like I knew, because I had my son. Even though my son was super young, I just knew like I wanted to be what my dad was to me, to my son, but like times 10. So when I meant times 10, I wanted to change the whole demographic, where my son, how the clothes he wear, the schools he go to, the books he reads, the whole everything. I wanted to change my son's life financially in a way where I can give him a lot of things that I didn't have. And so I knew from that point that I had to like step on the gas. And I think that's what kept me going. And it still keeps me going to this day. Like I look at that picture right there on my wall of my dad. I just say, what would my dad do? How would he handle this situation? Because he was always like providing, always there. So I just always make sure I'm present, and that's what keep me going. Just trying to be, trying to reach his pinnacle to be as better than him or as good as he was,
Yeah.
So was that
same here, bro? Like if I could be half the man that he was, that my dad was, sure, I'll
be satisfied.
Yeah, like I'll be satisfied with my life. You know what I mean? And I feel like he just set that bar so high. I was like, dang, like can I even do that? I hope I can. You know what I mean?
Right. Do you think there was anything you took for granted while your dad was still living?
Not asking him enough questions.
Right.
I think one thing that just sucks about him not being here, especially with me being in my 20s, is that, I'm finally kind of entering like adulthood in a sense.
Right.
I'm like finally growing up. I just graduated school. I'm about to, start. I wouldn't say this isn't my first big boy job, but like kind of working full time for a company now. Yeah, like just that post college life. Like, I'm entering a new chapter in my life, and there's gonna be new obstacles in life that I face, and I just wish that he was still here so I could ask him just all these different types of questions. Like,
how should I handle this? How should I do this?
Yeah, exactly. And not having that, now it's like, nah, I just gotta figure it out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I need that father figure to kind of just guide me and lead me. That way I'm okay.
Right. Sure, that was dope. But, to wrap it up, man, I appreciate you coming out. But maybe it's someone out there, saying they're taking a relationship with their father for granted. Do you have any tips or anything, any wisdom that you can give anybody? Or maybe it's just relationships in general that they're taking for granted. That, I'm saying, it's not worth the miscommunication.
I don't know. I mean, I really can't give advice to someone that in that position, because for me, I had a really good, relationship with my dad.
Right.
But I guess what I would say, if you have people in your life that you love and you care about, like, tell them. Tell them exactly what you think about them while they are still here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you love them, say that. If you're proud of them, say that. If you think they're really talented at something, just tell them that, because sometimes people don't hear that. And sometimes they want to hear it from you because maybe they feel the exact same way about you, know? So just take care of those relationships and just tell people, man.
Just give people their flowers while they still here.
Yeah, exactly.
I completely agree with that. Well, I appreciate you coming out, bro. I appreciate your wisdom and your transparency on this episode. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Stay tuned for the next episode, and we only gonna get better. Thank you.